Hey there friends, it's Meghann Andrew on the Gina K Designs YouTube channel with you today with a very special public service announcement. If you have not yet used your Sunny Days and Breezy Nights card kit, it's time to pull it out and get creating. I hope the card that I'm sharing with you today will give you lots of inspiration to create your next card project. Let's go right to my desktop. So there's one product that I haven't had the chance to work with in the Sunny Days and Breezy Nights card kit yet, and that is the Strawberry Harvest 3D embossing folder that also includes these cutting dies so that you can die cut the individual shapes. And then you have some stencils that you will use to color in those 3D shapes. So today I have kind of a different idea to make a wreath card out of strawberries. I thought it would be really, really pretty. And I've already cut out, I think six of my strawberry with leaf groupings and 3 of the individual strawberries. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out by embossing each of these. And that just means we have to put these in the right spot in the embossing folder. And you may think that that is a hard task, but it's really not. These have been designed so beautifully that they just sit right in the folder. Now, I like to hold my folder upside down so that these kind of lay right in there. It's kind of like they kind of lay in the channel. But if you get a little bit nervous, here's a little hack. You can use your masking magic and just make sure they don't move with that, right? So then when you close it up, everything stays in place and you can run that through your embossing machine. Okay, let's take a look. I'm gonna peel off my masking magic strip. And you can see that that's going to come right off of the back of the strawberry, but just do that really carefully. Okay, and I'm going to pull this off of the leaf. The masking magic is so thin that it almost disappears into your die cut. It's really cool, actually. But you can't tell that you put that masking magic on the front. There's no lines, see? So then I'm just going to do that 6 more times with this shape to do all of them at the same time. Now, this card project today is going to kind of be about batch creating. So when you are creating a series of cards or you have to do the same die cut over and over again for a single card, I'm going to give you tips on how to make that a little bit simpler. Okay, let's run this one through. And then we're going to go again for number 3, just putting that down and making sure it is all of the way in the space before we put our masking magic over the top. I always find things that are repetitive are calming to me, so I don't mind this process at all. The more you do this, the less sticky your masking magic is going to get as well, which I think is also quite helpful. Because sometimes you don't want it overly sticky. Now I've just lost what I was doing here. Lost my flowers, lost the shape. Here we go. Here it is. So we're going to get that in there. Kind of forgot which way was up and which way was down there for a minute. Okay. Just really take your time here though to make sure that each one lines up, because it's going to make it so much prettier in the end when all of your strawberries are embossed the right way. Okay, close that one up. Number 4. Okay, this is number 5 going in. Okay. And number 6. Let's make sure we don't get sloppy here on the last one. We gotta keep it nice and neat. Get our masking magic down, and the masking magic is still going strong. Okay, I'm down to one piece now though. Just gonna tilt this, make sure I've got it in the right place. There we go. All right, so there's all of our strawberry with leaf groupings. We're gonna have to do another piece of masking magic here. Okay, now that we have all 6 of our berry groupings, I'm gonna do the single strawberry, and that one is just to the left of the berry grouping. So now I'm gonna take a new piece of masking magic and get this one in place right here, kind of put it up here where the stem is, and close that and run that one through. Okay, here we go. And we'll just carefully remove that masking magic. Peel that back really gently. There's our single strawberry. Here's number 2 going in. Now, if my stem isn't perfect, it's going to be okay because it's probably going to be mostly covered anyway. There's number 2. And last but not least, number 3. Okay, so that concludes the embossing portion of today's card. And it really didn't take very long at all. It's just an easy process, just repetitive, but it's going to be so worth it. The repetition doesn't end here because now we are going to be ink blending all of our die cuts. So I have my double background 2 grip mat down on my work surface, and I have the Strawberry Harvest stencils. This is a 5 stencil set. They each have a letter at the top, A, B, C, D, and E, so you know which order to go in. Now, when we are batch creating, we're just going to stick with 1 stencil at a time so that it's really fast and easy. You get very used to the process as you're going. You're using the same color on each leaf, and it makes for a really quick and easy process. So I've just layered up my stencil, lining it up with my die cut here, and I've chosen some really pretty colors here. Medium cranberry, dark cranberry, sweet corn for that little flower, grass green, and then medium spruce. I didn't want to go with my really yellowy greens. I wanted to go more with my bluer greens. Okay, so I'm going to grab my blending brush and just make sure that that green is really nice and clean before I go in with my colors. So I'm going to choose grass green here. Let me move my die cuts out of the way so you guys can see my colors. Okay, we're going to start with grass green. Just do kind of an overall wash up color. This leaf is down below, so we want it to be nice and dark. Then I'm going to take my smaller brush and use medium spruce here to get even more shadowing. And I want that shadowing to kind of come out from where those other leaves are, just like that. So you get that really intense green right there. And then all I'm going to do is give this a quick wipe, pick this up, and move on to the next die cut. So you could easily, if you're doing maybe, 6 different cards with a single one of these die cuts and maybe a little cute little sentiment. So if you were creating a really quick and easy card, this would be a fast process for you. Here I am putting all of them on the same card, but it's still a pretty easy process. Okay, moving on. And the fun part is that as you keep going, you get to see the whole thing really just come to life with each addition that you put on. The beauty of these grip mats is that it really holds down your die cut and your stencil at the same time, so you don't have to use any tape or anything else to really hold that down. You'll just know that everything is perfectly secure. Now, one thing that can happen is that your berries can get a little bit wonky here. Okay, there we go. Because if one happens to stick down to your mat and the other one, like it turns it, then that can make your berries a little wonky. So when you're trying to place it down on your mat, just kind of place it flat down so that nothing gets kind of caught on the mat and gets turned around the wrong way. Pretty. Okay, one more of these guys. Medium spruce. All right. There we go. Lovely. So now I can put the A stencil aside and pull out the B stencil. Now on this one, I covered up the little hole that's in the center of the flower. So that's the middle of the flower, because I don't want to color that right now. I just want to color the leaves and the stems. So we're going to start all over and go back in. Now this makes it much faster than if I, even though I'm using green again, if I would have stopped, picked up another stencil on each one, it would not have been as quick. So I prefer to do one stencil at a time and work that way. Now you can see here that this little strawberry is not laying perfectly right with the stem, so I just kind of adjusted that ever so slightly. I'm also going to adjust my leaf just a tiny bit to make sure that that's lining up too. And you just want to make sure that none of your red parts, like the strawberries, are going to be showing right now. So if you see a little red part like sticking up, just do a little cover. Just do a little cheat. Okay, so we're going in with grass green here. And I'm going to start at the center and work my way out so that that darker area is closer to the flower. The lighter green is further out. And then I'll get those stems at the same time. And then I'm going to take medium spruce and just add a little bit of darkness left and right. Pretty. Love that. There we go. We just have to continue that process. Perfect. It's always easiest if you hold up that stencil with both hands at the same time while placing it. Because if you get one side down and then you're trying to get the other side down, it never works out. And go in with that medium spruce right there. 2. Okay, let's do 3. Okay, put that one aside. Number 4. And then medium spruce. Okay, and number 6. Okay, and last time for medium spruce here. Beautiful. Fantastic. Okay. So there's our greens, but I also need to look over here at this one because on my single little strawberry, we need to do our stems over here. So I'm going to place that down and I'm going to do just really quick medium spruce. Just for a little bit darker shade there. Okay, one more. Alrighty, there we go. Next, we're going to move on to stencil C, and this is our strawberries and part of our flower too, so that's exciting. Okay, so I'm just going to get this lined up, making sure that my strawberries are where I need them to be, because as you saw, I just moved that strawberry slightly to the right and now everything lines up perfectly. So that's what I mean by if your strawberry sticks to your mat, it's not in the right place, it's really easy to move that die cut. So here's what I'm going to do for this one. I'm going to use my yellow blending brush and sweet corn to start out up here with the flower, just really lightly. Okay, focusing on the center and just moving outward a little bit. Then I'm going to take my red brush, my small brush, and I'm going to go with medium cranberry first and then dark cranberry. So medium cranberry, to start from the top, making my way down like that. It may say cranberry, but it's the perfect strawberry color. It's so pretty. Okay, then I'll take my dark and just go right here. Just right there at the top. Okay. Now, I'm definitely going to wipe this off, and I'm going to wipe in a downward motion so that that red doesn't get near my flower. Wait until we see how pretty this is. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to do the same exact thing. Moving on to the next one. So this is number 2. Can already tell that that strawberry needs to be moved. Or maybe this one needs to be moved. Let's see. You can always use your pick and stick tool too. Look, you just stick that pick and stick tool underneath your stencil, kind of move it, finagle it the way you want it to go. Sweet corn first, going with medium cranberry first. I'm not going all the way to the bottom because I do want that kind of little tiny bit of white down there. Then dark cranberry at the top. Beautiful. Now if you get a tiny little line at the bottom of your strawberry, like it didn't line up properly, just touch that again with the brush itself. Don't worry about putting the stencil back down. I'm going to wipe this red downward. Sweet corn here. Medium cranberry. Dark cranberry right there at the top. That's number 3. This is going really fast now. Okay, those lined up perfectly. Sweet corn, medium cranberry, and dark. Okay, number 5. Sweet corn. Okay, and then dark cranberry, dark cranberry. Pretty. I think each one's going to look a little bit different, and that is perfect. Okay, number 6. Dark, dark. Woohoo, all 6 of those are done. Then I will bring my single strawberry over here. And what's easier about this one is that you don't have to line it up with anything else. It's all on its own, so it's very quick to line up. Just line up the little stem at the top. For this one, I'm just going to go with medium cranberry, I think. Just the medium. I'm going to touch up that tiny little bottom bit. Medium, perfect. And one more of our solo strawberry. Always try to pick up whatever you have left on your glass mat to use up all your ink on your last die cut. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're done with stencil C. Moving on to stencil D, this one is super easy. We have our little second trio for our flower, and we're just going to line that up like so, and then go back with sweet corn again. There we go. So this is a really quick and easy layer. Just going in with sweet corn on every one. I almost don't even want to put my brush down. It's almost like a wasted effort. There we go. Okay, stencil D was by far our easiest and quickest stencil. All right, moving on to stencil E. So this one includes our stems and then this little flowery part in the middle of your flower. We're just going to call it the flowery part because I don't know what else to call it. So I'm going to hit that with sweet corn. Super easy. Then I'm going to grab my detail brush and grass green for this part. Look how pretty. Now that you have your detail brush out, and if you see any parts that need to be covered with green, you can just hit those really quickly with your detail brush. But look at how cute that is. Love it. All right. So this is also another easy peasy stencil. Just repetition, friends. Just repetition. I'm going to grab my detail brush actually for that little part there. We're just going to use detail brushes here on this one. Grass green, grass green. Here we go. Just going to touch up this part right here. The little grass green. This is number 3. Okay, number 4. This one's number 5. and number 6. Okay, beautiful. Now we're going to grab our single strawberries and we're going to put their little stems on up here. For this one, I'm going to use medium spruce again since we made those a little bit darker before. And I'm going to touch up that medium spruce so that it goes all the way down. Okay, perfect. Number 2 and number 3. Okay, so you may think we are done, but remember on stencil B, we put a little piece of masking magic there to cover up that little circle. Well, now I want to fill that in, and I'm going to keep it really simple. We're just going to use our detail brush and sweet corn, kind of concentrating that color right there in the middle. There we go. And I'm using that detail brush so it can really get in there because it's very textured in the center of that flower. So you really want to get your brush in there to get all those little nooks and crannies in the center of your flower. So this hasn't taken me very long, but it's been a really easy process. And I stuck to a pretty simple color scheme, so you know I didn't have to get too many things out. So all in all, I would say try this out. Whether you're putting multiples on a single card or making a series of cards, it's really easy to do a few of these at the same time. Okay, I'm going to close up my inks and then we can get to building our card front. So now that the repetition part is done, I'm going to create my background and try to lay everything out. I love sea glass cardstock against these colors. This is ultimately why I went with my more bluer greens like grass green and medium spruce than I did with our more yellow greens. I really love sea glass against red, and with that little pop of yellow, it just works out so beautifully. I'm going to add a little bit of texture using the snowy background stamp. So I will place this here, and as you noticed, I moved my grip mat to my Misty so that it could hold that cardstock down. Now I will put this in place and just center it, and then we can do a little quick trim. The other thing that I could do is just kind of move it around, but I think it's better for me to center it and trim it out. Just going to get that right in the middle. Perfect. And I decided to do something a little bit crazy. I'm going to stamp with Cadet Blue instead of what I would typically do, which is sea glass. But I think it will be nice to have this deeper color in these little splotches. Oh, so pretty. Okay. There we go. The other thing I want to do while my Misty is out is to stamp my greeting. So if you saw at the beginning, I had this already die cut, and I used Master Layouts 15 to die cut that one. This is going to help me build my wreath. So that is this circle right here. It has a stitched line around the edge so that it looks really nice and polished. I wanted to choose a small sentiment because it's going to go right in the center. There's going to be some leaf overlapping the edge. So I chose this A Little Word of Cheer to Brighten Your Day from the Cheerful Greetings stamp. There's also a coordinating die for this one, but I won't be using it today. I think this is going to be perfect, and I can't think of really anything more cheerful than cute little strawberries. So I'm going to use medium cranberry for this one to match my strawberries. Oh, so cute. There we go. Put this aside, and then I will get my stamps and my Misty out of the way. Okay, we're just going to do a quick little trim of our 6x6 piece of sea glass. Now, this is going to be kind of a larger wreath, so that's why we had to go with the 6x6 size. I want it to be nice and circular, so we needed a square. Just cutting off 1/8 of an inch from each side. Okay, so then we have our splatters that go almost all of the way out. I don't want to cut off too much more. I have my white cardstock base here. I'm going to grab my Gina K tape runner, and I'm going to do this as a side folding card for this one. I think a side fold works really well for this shape and the size of this card. For an A2, I generally prefer a top folding card. I'm going to stand up and make sure that this is nice and straight. I love having that clean white border. It's going to look so pretty with the strawberries too. Okay, so I have my T square here, my T ruler, because I want to make sure that I get this part right. So my 3-inch mark is right here. I'm going to take my sentiment circle, and I put a square of 1mm foam adhesive on the back, but I'm going to take my Gina K Connect glue here. Now this is the Connect matte glue, so it takes a little bit longer to set, which is going to help me here. I can put this down so that my circle looks right about in the center of that 3, and you can see the 2 and the 4 catch the other sides of my circle. But then I'm going to move it and make sure it is even the other way too. Also want to make sure that your words are straight at this point. Okay, so then once you see that your words are straight, and then your circle is lined up properly, then you know you have that right in the center of your card. And that's how you're going to get your wreath centered on your card front too. So now we can just start placing our strawberries. I didn't put my foam adhesive all of the way to the edge of the circle for that reason. I wanted to make sure that I could put my strawberries kind of like around it, underneath it, tuck them up and down, right? So I'm going to do some up, some down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can do 3 up. I'm going to do the one at the top and the one at the 4 o'clock and the 8 o'clock above the die cut, and the ones at the 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock underneath. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. So now I can start getting these placed. I'm just going to use my Connect Matte Glue for the ones that are tucked underneath. Might have to kind of move things around here. This is not too fussy because these die cuts are really nice large size, so you're not fighting with them too much. And remember, nothing has to be exactly symmetrical because in nature, nothing is perfect. Okay, let's do our one down here at the 6 o'clock. Just going to have that kind of peeking out there. And then this one here. Okay, I'm just going to move this one to see if I have those kind of lined up in the same place. That looks pretty good. Some can stick out a bit more than others too. Okay, so there's our 3 that are stuck to the card front. Now I'm going to put some 1mm foam adhesive behind these guys so that we can get them in place. Okay, so now I'm going to take off the backing of my foam. And I just put a little strip along the leaves and then a couple strips on the backs of the strawberries. And we are going to place this last one right here at the top. Just like so. Oh my gosh, how cute is that? Look at all that dimension. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so we still have our 3 little individual strawberries. And what I want to do with them is just kind of like put them around and fill in any little gaps. Okay, so I think this one, and I want them to be at different, like kind of different angles. So I'm going to do one here, one there, and one there, I think. So cute. Just adds a little bit more variation. Now you could add as many strawberries in here as you wanted to. Look at this one. I'm going to even make that one overlap that one so that it looks totally different. And I need a little piece of foam. Okay, and then we're going to stick this one right in there, facing up like that. How adorable is that? I think I could have like cut 3 more of those individual strawberries. Oh, I think we need to finish this card with some bling. Okay, so I had to go with the Angel Aura Rhinestones. I'm going to put a big one down here. Looks like we need a glue refill. I'm going to put one right here. I'm just going to probably do 5. Although I start with 5 and then I want more. But, you know, we're going to try to do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put one right there. And you know what? Let's be rebels. We're going to go with 6 because I don't think you're going to notice. Or maybe we do 7. Let's do 7. Oh. Okay. This is when I just need to stop. Okay, and I'll try to get a medium one for right here. There we go. How pretty is that? I love it. This is exactly what I was thinking of when I thought I could probably make a wreath with this. And look, that's exactly what I did with just a little bit of repetition. It didn't take too much of a thought process, a very simple color palette, and we made a really pretty strawberry wreath. I love it. Thanks so much for joining me today here on the Gina K Designs YouTube channel as I use the new Strawberry Harvest Bundle from the Sunny Days and Breezy Nights kit to create a beautiful strawberry wreath card. If you're new here to the Gina K Designs YouTube channel, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment, and subscribe so you won't miss more card making inspiration using Gina's beautiful products. I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel over at Meghann Andrew Creates on YouTube. And don't forget to check out all of the supplies that I used to create this card in the video description below. Thanks so much for joining me today, friends, and happy creating!